it's me, Galen. I'm all crouched down because I'm going to film some things to do with maps and campaigns, and they're all laid flat on the table, and I'm going to take you, I'm going to lead you by the hand through the streets of London. No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, to look at some different sorts of maps I use, and they've come from different places and they do different things. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I'm back. I'm going to pick you up now. This will be dead wobbly, remember, because of the Parkinson's. So, where can we go? Yeah, okay, I know what we're going to do. I'm going to turn this off, and then I'm going to turn it on as we go over all the maps, and then I'm going to come back again. See, it's like a smooth, well-oiled machine, this, isn't it? There's no wonder I've got thousands of subscribers and a huge, incredible click rate. I engage people for hours. So, this is the first map. Now, if you are my regular viewer, hello, you'll know I talk a lot about our own campaign map for fantasy called The World of Jural that started off in 1988, and so you see the squares, like that town there, Coombe, is in a square with the Mun River and the marshes and forests and hills. That is the size of the ping pong table that we originally fought on, table tennis table. So if we're fighting perhaps a 4x4 battle, we would use a quarter of that. And if we're using my table in my garage, which is 8x4, we'd use half of it. And that's how it all started. And this is miles away from where we started. I don't even know where that was, to be honest. So I've turned the pages of the book, but I can't remember which way round it goes. Try to see if I can find the original battlefield. No, that's a long way from it. Oh, is it here? Yeah, it is, I think. Yeah, it is. It is there. Water meetings. That's the very, very first battle we ever fought in that square. And all we knew, because the ping pong table, we tried to put another table next to it and it didn't work, and that's why we ended up with that river. But we didn't have any buildings in them days, and we didn't have any hills. We just had a flat green table tennis table. So it's evolved since then. And the winner of that game threw a d6 and captured 6 squares, and then we fought another battle somewhere else and filled it in over time and redrew it and coloured it in. And it gets redrawn on a fairly regular basis. I've got a feeling, yeah, see, look, we're redrawing it again. It hasn't been coloured in yet, this one. And every time we redraw it, we change names or we rationalise things that we weren't happy with. So that's our own game. And now this is a different type of map. This is a book. Battle maps of the Civil War. There you go. I'll do that so you can, American Heritage, you get a good look at it. You can make notes, do a screenshot if you fancy. Fantastic book. So you get, let's go, Battle of Antietam, Battle of Antietam, sorry about that, Sharpsburg. Tells you all about it, some good pictures. Then this to me is almost like a war games table. If I'm doing this at 10 mil on my big table, that could be a war games table. So I've got my rivers, I've got my bridges, I've got the hills, I've got Sharpsburg there, I've got the roads, I've got everything. I can lay that out, and it does it in, these are the maps that the actual commanders had And then there are other maps for other battles. So you've got that's like a battle map, isn't it? Like a campaign. Now this is something my son-in-law found. Well, he found a different one. Let's find the one he found. This is the one he found. Oh, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do Kingmaker first, because it's underneath. So, there we go. Remind you, do you still play Kingmaker, anybody? You should. I picked this up at a Wargames fair. Complete for £30. Not that good. But that's a nice basic map. You know, it's not complicated. And the rules tell you how you move and how many men are at different towns and things. So, if I fold Kingmaker up, this is here Roman map of Britain, and it's Ordnance Survey map. So it's the Roman map of Britain as an Ordnance Survey map. So you've got Roman names for things. But then I found this for Dux Britanniarum, which is the Ordnance Survey map of exactly the same place for ancient Britain. And it goes from Paleolithic in different colours right down to 1066. So I like the year 500. So I'm looking for early medieval sites. Anything before that I can use, can't I? Because if somebody made something in the Iron Age or the Bronze Age or the Romans, it should still be there. So I'm happy with that. But there's all sorts of things I can do now using these maps, and they're already gridded and everything. And then the last thing that I threw casually away, I mentioned I was going to show these. This is Bill Lamming's campaign rules. So you start off with a lord and 3 viscounts and 9 barons, and a viscount can have 3 units, 1 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light, and 9 knights, and so on. So you end up with a big retinue. And then there's the weather when your ship sails, different sorts of shipping boats, shipbuilding, fishing vessels, searching and settling islands, what you find, plains, oxen, natives, marshland, woodland, and so on, and so on. And it goes on and on to building castles and quarrying and how many peasants and getting the plague. And that's the campaign rules. And then you've got the actual battle rules for a medieval battle. I symbolically close the book. I'm in a slightly different position for editing purposes. And this, you know, I sometimes look back at videos I've done, and I look at thumbnails, and my aim has always been trying to be one better every time. And I think what I've managed to do today is to have such a crashingly terrible video that it's like the reset button. I can start again. And I tried to be dead smooth. And one reason for being in here where I am now is because I thought, oh, I thought about this. This doesn't happen. I planned it. And so I thought, what I'll do, I'll do my introduction. Hi, it's Gail, got Parkinson's. And then I'll show you all the things, and I'll very intellectually, because I've seen people do these YouTube videos, and they're dead smooth and slick. And so I'll do like that. I'm like the sort of David Attenborough of the wargames world. Even Rollo's joining in now. Rollo, do you want to come and make this even worse? Hiya, come and say hello. Come and say hello to the people. Oh, it's like a Rollo. Yeah, you see, we've decided today we're going to be completely, I don't know what the word is. We're going to be revolutionary, and that's not the word I want. But Parkinson's, I don't know, you're sick of me saying that. but it makes it hard to you get cloudy, cloudy in your head. What do they call people? People who don't like rules. Flipping heck! Anarchists. Anarchists. We're going to be anarchic today. Oh, goodness me. So, try and bring it round. What can I say? I'm going to have a cup of tea. Hang on a sec. I'm a Yorkshireman. I'm going to have a cup of tea. Somebody told me, and I don't know if this is true, if you ask somebody from Yorkshire, they don't say where they're from, generally. They say Yorkshire. I'm from Doncaster. I wouldn't be. Somebody, where are you from? Yorkshire. My first thought isn't Doncaster. It's Yorkshire. And I almost said I'm an Englishman. I'm going to have a cup of tea. And then I thought, no, I'm a Yorkshireman. So I'm going to have a cup of tea. I've lost it. Quite proud of myself, by the by, because something happened to me today that years ago would have floored me and sent me right over the edge. And although initially I went, oh, now get knotted. So yeah, so I'm proud about that. But anyway, regardless of that. So what I was going to say was, we've got all those different sorts of campaign maps. We've got ones you draw yourself and create yourself from your own world. And you could do that with any period. You could have a fictional World War II game, or a fictional Napoleonic game, or a what if. What if Napoleon had invaded the Americas? I don't know. So you could have what ifs, probably more logical ones than I've just said, but you could. And then you could have your science fiction games, which can be in a known universe, the sort of Star Wars, 40k, from a game you like, Halo, I don't know. Or you could just completely make it up, which is what I like to do, because that way no one can tell you you're wrong, to be honest. So you can do what you want to do, but I personally think maps help, and they help to make that more, I don't know if realistic's the right word, but more of a playable game where you can think about the game. So imagine you go to a wargames club once a week, and every week we're going to do one of the one game that's generated by the campaign. So I'm going to think now, where do I want to go? I won the last game, so I've got the initiative. Perhaps that's your rule. I don't know, it's our rule. Where do I want to go? I look at the map and I'm thinking, well, I could go down that road, but what if I cross country and take him by surprise? I'm going to be slower. Or, oh, there's some woods there. Or do I really want to go through those woods and pop out into their territory that I don't know, into a bog? No, I'll stop here. Because our other rule is, if I've got initiative, I won the last battle, which I didn't. If you watch the videos of the Test of Honor thing, I'd lost 2 against myself. So the rule would be, if I'd won, if I ever won a game, which I don't, then I decide what to do next. It might be to push forward. It might be to stay where I am and dig in or create a camp. And they develop slowly and they cost you money. So just a fortified camp, like the Romans might throw up quick, that would cost you, it just costs you 5 gold pieces, 5 credits, because we generally use credits, or like Dungeons and Dragons, 5 gold, silver, bronze, copper, whatever. So it costs you 5 out of your pot, And that's for upkeep and maintenance, and that sees you through the year then. But if you, a month, it takes a month to upgrade things. So if you wanted to upgrade it, then it would cost you another 10 to turn it into a fortified camp, and so on. And then as it gets more, you can't go from camp to castle like that. It takes time, because then you've got to start building in the build times of things. But they raise income then at the beginning of every year. We only do it at the January of the gaming year, not the real year, the gaming year. And you count up what everything's worth. There's some really good stuff. There's a thing on YouTube, not YouTube, just on the internet, I think. And it's almost like a sort of Magna Carta, no it's not, Doomsday Book of a fantasy world. So it'll say, in your little terrain square, you've got farmland, you've got sheep, it's a crossroads, it's a market, double whatever you first thought of, add 6 for a fish. And it tells you what it's worth. And then you can add them all up. And we say every 100 gold pieces or credits buys you an army. Or it buys you a point of a test of honour figure. For example, so if we fight with a 24-point test of honour army, that's cost us, that's a quarter. Because we say the 5th one, the 25th one, is sort of the cook, bottle washer, feeding the cattle. It's not very precise, but it does. Yeah, so that's it. I went on a bit, didn't it? And it were madness. I know. Don't know what got into me. But, what can I say? You were here. If you stuck out to the end, you've nobody to blame but yourself. We all know there's nobody here. Ta-ra, Chuck.